for what I've done to at least get to this point is, I can't say consistency because I haven't been consistent. So I think the main thing that I've done is enjoy it for what it is.
In this 5th episode of the FPV podcast, we are joined by one of Australia's top pilots who is not only a legend behind the goggles, but also in real life too. We cover how to send it into the skies, the secret to keeping flying exciting in the long run, and just having a good old laugh. Thank you for coming on the show today, Jacuzzi Jay. Really appreciate having you on. Loving the fit to the glasses that we got rocking here.
No worries.
Can you introduce yourself and what you do within the FPV space as well?
Oh dear. All right. My name is Jay, and I've figured out the name Jacuzzi Jay somehow. And I fly quads. I fly for fun in the backyard, and I go racing with friends around the corner, and I cruise around beaches and take it out and get shots of surfing and just rip hard. And I make YouTube videos and Instagram reels, TikTok reels.
The lot.
I've got no idea what I actually do. I just fly sometimes, and
that's bloody good.
Happen to record it, and it's great.
Heck yeah, and the recordings that you come out with are absolutely insane. And you got some crazy effects going on in some of them too. Where I don't know if it's like effects or whatever, but there's some stuff going on with some of your shots that I'm just like, yo, that is trippy, but it looks epic. So
all on the computer. I've got no idea what I'm actually doing. It just
happens.
Making it look cool.
It happens and pops out.
It just happens.
I'm curious to know then, how long have you been flying FPV, and sort of what's your first experience getting into this whole thing?
Mate, it's been too long. I will say it's been too long.
What's too long?
I know. It goes back. Well, like I'm 24. How are you?
21.
Oh, near enough. It was back when I was
close. We're close enough there.
Yeah, back when I was in high school. I met a bloke who flew planes, and I liked cars, like RC cars, as every 14-year-old kid does. He's like, "Bro, I got these planes." I was like, "What? That's sick." So I got one of those, and then that very quickly transitioned to like quadcopters, really, at the time, like a big 800 mil thing, aluminium arms, just waving in the winds. And that was 2013, December of 2013, I got my first one then. And from there, I guess FPV properly started about mid-2014, in that ballpark. So...
Gotcha, so straight on into it.
Straight on into it. I tried. Failed so bad.
Was your first drone this big steel? And I'm presuming that wasn't FPV, right? That was just a big drone, homemade. Yeah.
Lucky I could see. I didn't need it. I could. Now I got no idea.
The age is catching up.
It is. I'm 24. It was just line of sight. I think FPV obviously was a thing, but I knew no one that did at that stage, so it was just a matter of just hovering this thing, and if it could do a roll, I was like, I was losing my mind. And I got strapped. Oh mate, I had a GoPro Hero 2, and I taped a ruler to the front of this big aluminium arm thing, and then strapped a GoPro Hero 2 to the front to get some footage. That was the coolest thing in the world.
Let's go.
Yeah, FPV came about a year and a half later or so, and it was rad.
Yeah, heck. So what'd you do to get into FPV then? Were you just literally flying with your same mate, or what's happening?
Pretty much. He was frothing on this tricopter. Have you seen flight test stuff?
I have, and
yes.
I recently, I think it was from Thomas actually, that he showed me some of his first experiences was with the tricopters. I was like, holy crap, this is the first time I've seen these things. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, well, my mate, he had one of those, and he set up like FPV on it, and I was like, that's the coolest thing in the world. Like, what am I doing? So I went on Hobby King and got these chilliest looking goggles I've ever seen in my life. I got those things. They cost an arm and a leg, and managed to get a VTX that wasn't like a brick, and managed to chuck it into some plastic quad and had a go. But that was my first time. I remember sitting down. I'm like, that's me. I can see
Yeah.
myself. It was absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that was my introduction from the old tricopter. So that
The
takes
old
it back.
tricopter.
It takes it back.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm yet to fly one of those yet, so that'll be an experience when it comes to it.
I don't know if you're missing out. I don't know.
Ah.
I think they're very cool. But I think it's like, rather novelty, but that's cool. That's cool. It's good fun.
I mean, I've seen a lot of racing still to this day getting done with the tricopters, so I'm not
Really?
sure if there's like a side of it. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a side of it that still is better for racing. I have no
Yeah,
clue
it
really,
could.
but there's a
I mean,
potential.
3 is less than 4. Maths.
How'd you go from the tricopter then into actual quads?
I mean, the only thing on Hobby King that looked like it made any sense was this plastic 250mm frame. And I was like, righto then. I mean, that makes more sense because it had a servo on the tricopter's rear tail. I'm like, I can't do it. That's too much for me. So I got that. And I had so little idea that I bought 6-inch props for it. And I wait like a month for the thing to show up. I put the prop on and it's I was like, oh, I can't win. So yeah, onwards and upwards from there. But yeah, it made more sense at the time to have the 4 and not deal with the servo because my little brain couldn't deal with it.
But then here we are, however many years. We can't do the maths on that one. That's a little too much for me. But
not.
Somewhere over about 8 or 9 years later, here we are, and
finally.
you're still in it. So what's bloody kept you here so long?
Oh,
Why? Why are you here?
The money.
All that profit from YouTube, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't even turned it on. Someone said, "Oh, how much do you get?" Oh, nothing. No, I don't turn it on. I have most certainly gone through stages where I'm like, I love it. I'm so bored. I love it. I'm so bored. And each time, something that I've changed about the way I flew or the thing that I flew or then what I did with the footage got me back into it. So there was a very long time period there when I was like at uni and then I couldn't actually fly as much as I wanted to. And then what got me back into it was then changing how I flew because I would just dawdle. And I'm like, okay, let's up my rates. Change to steals rates, and then I was just, I love flip it heaps quick. I just love flipping, flip it, roll it, flip, back flip. Like, this is sick. And then the schizo stuff, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll fly like smooth and whatnot. And then it turned to filming, like you put a camera on the thing and it changes everything. So then the filming side got me back into it again. So I kind of worry, like, if there's going to be a time when I don't have something to drag me back.
I honestly don't think that you'll ever reach a point. I reckon you might get to a point where you're like, I've kind of gone through this massive long process of like, trying these different things. What if I just went back to square one and tried? What if you tried tricopters again?
Yes.
Like, who knows? That could be the next big thing. That could be the thing that takes FPV to the new level, is reintroducing tricopters and freestyling that shit. Can you imagine that with a servo on it?
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. No, that would go terribly.
The thing is though, you do seem to be pretty heavily into freestyle, right? Like that's sort of that would be your main niche side of things. Would you say?
Yeah. It's much easier just to do. Isn't it?
Rip it around and just abuse the quad a little bit.
Pretty much. I can't hammers, like the amount of times I've just failed myself. I can't set up gates. I can try.
Do you have you flown gates though?
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm not intentionally in terms of my own practice much. Maybe once, like COVID first lockdown, I set a shack up in the backyard and flew around that, and it was fine. It was freestyle, mate. I'm so lucky. I live right behind a primary school, and they've got a nice oval, and then the trees and like some play equipment and whatnot. So I can literally sit at my back fence and just fly, and it's fantastic. Like, it's so lucky. So
That's
lucky.
pretty much.
So
That
yeah,
makes
freestyle
life pretty
takes it.
easy.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, like when I was living out of home for the uni and stuff, and I'd have to drive like half an hour to go to somewhere that was viable for flying. I was like, oh, this is not fun. But that's a lot of
Yeah,
people's
no,
reality. So I'm just so lucky. So lucky.
absolutely. Do you have any like FPV race clubs or anything near you?
Hardly. So where I'm in Jervis Bay, I'm nearly like right across from you, I think. I don't know
Oh,
exactly.
what across the ocean?
Yeah, across the ditch. You just kept going
Love it.
across the ditch. I'll be right there. Um, whoa,
Meet you halfway.
exactly. So we're not near much. Just kind of beach and then little town and then nothing. So I go to Canberra, which is about 2.5 hours. 2 hours if Pete's driving. He just drives like a maniac, but I'm nanny driver. So yeah, 2.5 hours is my closest club for race. So every one Saturday a month I'm on the long haul down to lose racing. It's worth it. I love it.
Is that running year round?
There's a break. There's a break over like Chrissy and stuff, and a couple months off here and there. I think. I've been super slack this season, but yeah, it's. I think it goes to about 8 or so rounds, so maybe 8 months and then 4 months off. That could be right.
Sounds pretty. Yeah, sounds pretty right. Well, probably 4 months off over winter area and whatnot when it's more.
Oh, you bloody wish, mate. You bloody wish. And you guys are flying in New Zealand when it's 6 degrees. Oh, Canberra is like that, only worse. It's horrible. It's the worst place. For the love of God, if you come over here at all, just don't go to Canberra.
I like you said 6 degrees though. 6 degrees is warm.
That's actually the worst.
Yeah, no, that's
horrible.
I mean, today it's like a high of I think it's 9 outside or something like that. And I mean, during the winter we happily get to easily some days like it's sort of -5, -6. It's chilly, but
What?
yeah, she'll be right. How often do you get it out for flying? Like when like, obviously it's right behind you. So like,
I know.
what are you doing? Are you in you ripping 100 packs a day? Are you 1 pack a week?
Oh, mate, it's so terrible. Like, I'll go, if I get a good spell of weather, like if it's like right now, you can't see because your background's in it, but you can see the sun. It's pumping. If I get a good string of weather, I will try to fly like 1 to 2 batteries every couple of days. Because if I fly like 4 or 5 packs or something, I'll just start crashing and breaking everything, and I'll be too focused on like trying to, my trippy spin wasn't as perfect as I wanted it to. Like, no, I don't want to bother getting into any of that. So usually any flying session is like 2 or 3 batteries, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy. That's fine. And then I'll just do it again another day. But I go long times without flying. Like before like yesterday or the day before, I hadn't flown in 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, somewhere around that. It's coming up to the end of, I'm a school teacher, so it was coming up to the end of the term. And God, imagine me as a teacher. Learn nothing. But I hadn't flown for a little while there, and I'll go for a little bit at a time. But yeah, really, if I do go out for a flying session, max I'll fly is like 10 batteries. Because it's just, I don't get bored. But I start just breaking too much, and I start worrying about it too much, and it's just.
Yeah, no, that's fully on board with the breaking side of things there. You sort of, you take the risk a couple of times and it's like, okay, so how much do I want to spend today is sort of like how much, how many packs you take with you.
It's terrible.
The more packs, the more you spend.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Like my missus said the other day, she's like, you haven't bought anything for the Jones thing. And I was like, how good is it? She's like, no, it's your hobby. Spend money on your hobby. I'm like, darling, I'm not breaking anything.
Say less.
Dude, check this. You might be able to see it best that way. That's an F4 flight controller with an ESC that I ran at the 2019, Australian Nationals. in
And it's
racing,
still going hard.
and it's still perfectly fine. I am so pumped on not having to spend money needlessly on new stuff. So it's it helps when I then don't break things because
I mean, are you practicing on the simulator, like to no
did.
simulator training at all?
I did.
When?
Whoa. 2018, I lived in Indonesia. I went through a year at uni there. And, some days it was just bucketing rain outside and there was nothing to do. So I'd, set up the computer and chuck on an album and just cruise around, practice some racing stuff. I practiced my first trippy spin on the simulator. I mean, the boys actually, no, never mind. Some of the boys from the local area, they hop on the Velocidrone and we do a couple laps around a track there and just have a yarn. That's fun.
Nice.
But never intentionally at the moment will I set up the computer and play it. I don't know. Should I? I don't know.
There's so many different mixed opinions on it, dude. There are people that are like, honestly, just get out there and fly, and that's kind of my thought on things. It's like, just go out there and fly and enjoy it, right? But then there's also the part of like, well, if you just jump on a simulator each day for 20 minutes, that compounds up real quick, and suddenly you've got like hundreds of hours behind you with flying, and you become a way better pilot. So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know. It's completely up to you. But like when you're flying, you mentioned Velocidrone. Is that your preferred simulator?
I couldn't. I remember there was a time period where you couldn't get your real drone to fly you couldn't get your on the computer Velocidrone or any simulator. You couldn't get that drone to fly as good as you could make your drone fly. And this is flight. You couldn't get it to fly as well as your real drone. Now you can't get your real drone to fly as good as the Velocidrone one.
Pressing.
So I know it's brutal. If I was, and I'd suggested to anyone listening there, hello, if anyone wanted to practice like a trick, then 1000%. Like when I started practicing my Rubik's Cube and yours and all this stuff, I would try it in the simulator first and just get the muscle memory of my sticks down, and that would have saved a million arms, 100 props, and everything. So yeah, if it was a new trick that I was wanting to learn, absolutely. But mate, they're now tough as a frickin' rock. I don't feel worried about going to practice on a simulator. I can
That's good.
Go out and they'll hold up 99% of the time.
For sure. What are you using to film at the moment? Because you're definitely posting up on YouTube and up on Instagram Reels and stuff, as you mentioned. So what's the gear? What are we filming with?
The gear, bro, mate. I copped the Hero 11 Mini.
Yeah, and how's that going?
It's sick. It's amazing. I love it. It's so cool. I had the hit the Hero 9 or like 10 or whatever, like this form factor before that. And this just like cuts through the MM. Like it's so narrow that it's beautiful. So I use that for, I use the Mini for onboard freestyle stuff. And my, hi, this is me holding a camera. Hi, I'm here to talk to you about something. That is a Hero 10.
Shebang.
Shebang. I'm here to shebang for you, baby. That is a Hero 10 that I've got a media mod on. And
nice.
And
so we're like full-time GoPro on it.
Full GoPro. It's so simple. It's so easy because if I want to chuck it on my phone and like all my reels pretty much are edited on my phone. So I'll just go blah, blah. Now it's on my phone. Blah, 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 blah. Done. Off it goes. And
send it off.
Yeah. Like I've got not like your fancy one. Guys, look at that video. It's beautiful. Not as fancy as that, but I've got one that's got like a proper lens and it's a Lumix G85 or something. It can do 4K, but it crops in, and like if I want to get like nice shots when I'm like getting bokeh and all this crap, then yeah, I'll use it. But it's mad, it's big. Like it's mirrorless, but it's still big enough that it's a pain to take anywhere. So the GoPro I can really shove right up into people's faces when they're flying and they don't know. The other one, they can hear the grit of the lens as I'm getting in there. I don't want that.
It definitely takes a lot more time to and energy to carry a big ass camera around.
100%.
And yeah, I mean, hey, if I wasn't such a pixel peeper, and so like it's just an issue with me, honestly. I have to have like the best that I can produce, like quality wise.
Yeah.
You know, it's bloody hard to. I would love to swap to a GoPro. They would be fantastic. But
great.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now we're sticking with the big old Canon with a gritty lens and that. On the topic of gear, then, what are we rocking for, like goggles, controller? Like, are you on analog? Are we on digital? What are we rolling with?
Los Cuernos, Los Cos.
English.
That's not any language. I've stuffed it up. You know the Mexican tortilla ad? The little kids like, why don't we have both?
No, I mean, I can imagine it right now. You're doing a really good impersonation, but
mate, I've got both. The remote, I've got it.
And we're disappearing into a drone again. And
I'm
back
back from the drone. I'm back from the dead. I've got the Radio Master. That's great.
Nice.
In gold. It shimmers. It's not gold. It's like off gold. It's got Crossfire in it because I use Crossfire on my digital rigs because they're slow. It doesn't matter. And then I guess we'll go digital. Then V2s. But these antennas, bruv.
Yeah, just game changing.
A million times better. The other ones, you'd screw in the top and then screw in the bottom here, and you wouldn't be able to put it in the bag. These are flat and compact, and they give you more range, and they give you better latency, like miles better. So I set a digital quad up to fly with these, and that was really good. But my regular setup that I just freestyle fly is analog, HD, Fat Shark, whatever they're called. I don't know. HDOs. Is that it?
HDOs? Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I have no clue.
No, that's all right. Well, then HDOs. HDOs.
Love it.
This isn't, I guess, the optimal setup that I would want to run, but it's a Speedix ESC 30x30 with an F4 flight controller and some race camera that I have managed to not destroy over time, and a TBS 69.
Let's go. Yeah,
I love it. And then little stubby things, and that's on Tracer. But that's usually the freestyle setup, and that, I mean, standard flights are so bloody similar that I nearly don't waste my time with it, to be honest with you.
It's all personal preference on that side of things, really, with the whole analog and digital. But it's interesting to hear that you got both of them. Do you considered O3 at any point for like the filming side of things and whatnot? No.
I flew. No, that was a bit too quick. I was in Indo recently on a little holiday, and I met up with one of my mates, Irawan, over there, and he had the Avada. Is that it? Avada. And he had the new goggles. My guess is that's the O3 sort of deal. That's kind of like the same transmission quality. That's my guess. And if that's the case...
it is.
It nearly looked too much like the finished product to the point where you were lacking dynamic range. It felt like the darks were really dark and the lights were really light. Could have been his settings. His settings could have been well off, but I do have, like, this is the Luma 55, this freaking web of a thing, and it's got a Vista, and then I've got my bloody Luma 30, which is what I put a freestyle clip up on my Instagram last night, and it's got a Vista.
Nice.
With the nice Nebula, whatever camera it is, and they're cooked, mate. Like, that's as bloody good a video as I could ever have dreamt of having. Little me with a ruler on the front trying to get video, and that's incredible. Like, that's so good. Like, it's got distance, it's got clarity. Oh, mate, the $300 or whatever they charge you. I'll buy more lentils, please. Like 300 cans.
300 cans of lentils.
300 cans of lentils. Ah!
Yeah. Wait, what are you going to cook? Lentil curries?
I love lentil curry.
What else are you going to cook with lentils?
Dal. I could make dal. Indian dal. Don't ask me any other questions because I don't know.
I feel like that's still kind of like a curry.
You've caught me out, Brody. I've got no idea.
Love it. All right, well, we've got 300 curries on the way instead of an O3 unit. That's definitely a lot better.
Cooking for you, mate.
It's interesting though, because you're pretty much like on a point of essentially gear isn't really like a main focus for you. So it's good because it just goes to show the whole point of like, you run analog, you have digital, but you also run analog for your freestyle. And it's like, you just film it with a good camera, just the end product, but the whole actual process and stuff is just literally doesn't matter to you.
Nah,
which is cool. It's actually exciting because it means like, you don't have to have this 300 can of lentils
100%.
worth of O3 unit, you know?
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
So you've got 300 extra can of lentils, and you're a complete beginner who's aspiring to rip it, right? Who's aspiring to rip it like you are. How are they doing it? What's your tips, mate?
My hot tips. Jacuzzi J's hot tips to be hot. I mean, to be getting the hot. Frick.
Making a hot curry with lentils.
Yes. I have no idea what's happened along the way to any point where I've actually felt like I've gotten better. First off, there are so many good freestyle pilots right now. It is cooked. Oh my God. People who had no idea, they were still working a 9 to 5 the other day. Now they're full-time droners. Oh, look at that. This is fun, this background. There's so many people that have popped up. It's incredible. PDevX, Lumpy's absolutely cooked, mate. Did you see this thing? He did a front flip, inverted yaw, and then Maddie flipped through 2 bars. Did you see that?
Yes, that went viral on Instagram, dude. I saw that on Insta.
Cool. That's my boy. So I don't know, because it's obviously so very subjective as to what is good. But for what I've done to at least get to this point is, I can't say consistency because I haven't been consistent. So I think the main thing that I've done is enjoy it for what it is. Every single time I go out, I try my very hardest to just fly. Like, there were times I'd go like one session, I'd practice one thing. I'd be like, I want to get my Rubik's to hit every axis perfectly every time. That happened. That happens all the time. And I sometimes still do that. But to get to that point, you got to enjoy it. If I'll go out and I'm like, I am going to fly, and I'm going to fly for the purpose of this video, and I'm going to make it look perfect, and I'm going to... Bruv, you've lost it.
You burn out.
You've lost it before you've even started. And I unfortunately know people who've gone through that, and it sucks. So, I don't know, just have fun with whatever it is you're doing, because success, for me, I don't think ever was anything in terms of like performance and doing something like really well. But success is going out and flying with your mates. Or if you're flying by yourself, and having a damn fun time while you're doing it and making fun of yourself and enjoying. They're toys. They're literal toys. It's like kicking a ball, you know. We're not all Ronaldo or Messi, but you just go out and have fun with the things. And that has gotten me, I reckon, YouTube stuff, Instagram stuff, any social media stuff, that's what's gotten me more than my actual skills. I'm dead certain. Because there are blokes who are so good, but they don't have the social media drive that makes it look like you're good. Like, what, bruv, Steele's got 400 and 500,000 subscribers. There's pilots better than him. Heaps. But having a fun time, and if that's recorded, that's what I feel makes people think you're better than you are. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people just enjoy watching you as well, you know? Like, so like they're enjoying watching you enjoy your time. They're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
He's having a whole bunch of fun. Like, I can go do that and have a whole bunch of fun. You know, but if they don't have their friends around them or whatever, then they're like, I'm just gonna watch, I'm gonna go watch Jacuzzi J.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump on YouTube and get my daily dose of shebang, you know? Like,
it's just love it.
That recent video of yours absolutely got me, dude. I loved it. And honestly, your content, I'd never heard of you until I went to NZO. And I think it might have been Henry.
He's a shit talker, mate. Don't listen to the word he says.
I'm pretty sure it was him that mentioned, that was like, have you heard of Jacuzzi J? I'm like, nope. Should I have? And he's like, mate, look him up. He is like, a YouTuber just like you. I'm like, all right, here we go, all right.
Oh, let's do it.
This is something that came to my mind when you were talking about having fun. What is your favorite trick? Hands down. Like, what are we doing that's just getting you going?
I love... Ow! Jesus.
I've asked a hard question here.
I went through a time where I wanted to make a trick video of like my favorite tricks. Obviously, just take the piss 1,000%. Because trick videos are hilarious. So I just wanted to take the piss. And I picked out like, 3 or 4? And I'm going to pick one of them. But my favorite are a trippy spin, the inverted yaw spin, a Rubik's Cube, and a Matty flip. They're probably my favorite 4. My favorite of them would definitely... You've taken me up shit creek without a paddle, buddy. What's going on? I love the trippy spin because I've been able to like incorporate different types of entries, exits. Whilst in trippy spins, I've been able to like play with that a lot. I think that's probably what I'm most well known for. I love getting a clean inverted yaw spin, whether it's tracking something like I called it the Dyson. I have no idea why. But a good inverted yaw spin is beautiful. If you get it around a tree and you see the glistening light on it, and you're just tracking that thing. I'm going to go trippy spin. Sue me.
All right. That's the trippy spin. That is,
I love it.
That is officially, you've said it live. So
no, I take it back.
It's your favorite now.
It's a roll.
You cannot.
It's a barrel roll.
You're going to have to name something the lentil now, by the way. You're gonna have to do a trick and just be like, that was the lentil, by the way. And everyone is gonna probably question your sanity a little bit when you start, telling them that's the lentil trick. But anyone that's listened this far and will at least know.
Also question my sanity as well. I was gonna say it shouldn't come late in the fray. Mate, I'm thinking I've got this one. It's like, it's not a trippy, but I fling up a tree like this and look up at it and then spiral my way down it. It's kind of, I don't know, that could be the lentil.
That's it. That's going to happen. It's going to be the new viral, new viral video, the lentil. Well, mate, where can people find you? What's the channel? What's the Insta? Where are we going?
The channel, Jacuzzi J. JACUZZI JAY. If you looked up that, it would come up. You wouldn't be able to find it any other way. And then the Instagram is Jacuzzi_J. And it's as simple as that. I must give a shout out as well. I have to.
Head it up. Do it.
Shout out to Brody. The freaking man. You can pay me later. It's all good. Good on you for bloody having a damn good go at making some top quality stuff. There isn't enough of it. So my hat is off to you. Very good job. Shout out to my babe Casey for being a babe. Shout out to Rising Sun FPV. They're like the top retailer in Australia for FPV stuff. Shout out to Luma making dank frames.
Yes, let's go, Luma.
Shout out to my mum for supporting me.
Brilliant. All right, well, thank you for coming on the show today, Jacuzzi J. I appreciate having you on. And until next time.
Thank you. Yes, until next time, listen to another episode of the FPV podcast. Hopefully the next one, episode 6. Keep being dank, stokers.